Hello everyone. Today's video. This is a very important aspect for those that are planning on taking IELTS. This video will outline 6 particular aspects that are very common errors, mistakes made by many students when they take IELTS. If you want to be marked purely on your performance and not have the marks detracted for making silly mistakes, this is a video you must watch. So let's get on, and I will go through these 6 mistakes that you must avoid under all circumstances. Okay, just before we go into these common mistakes, I would just like to say that on the day of the test, don't forget to make sure you've had a good night's rest the night before, that you're going to the test and you get there well before your test is due, and that you're feeling happy, you're feeling confident, and you're ready to go and nail this test. So here we go, mistakes to avoid. So the first mistake that students often make is that they just don't understand the test format. They haven't studied it and they don't know what's going to be expected of them, what the format's going to be, the times, etc. that are going to be used during the various aspects of the test. Remember, study all 4, make sure all 4 aspects you know everything about them. That's reading, writing, listening and speaking. So all 4 are absolutely vital. Make sure you understand 100% what is expected of you during this test. The next aspect that students often have a problem with is that the time management. You've got to manage your time very effectively and know exactly how you're going to use the time that's available to you. This is important in all 4 aspects again, but particularly so in the writing between task 1 and task 2, and also for task 2 in the speaking also, where you've got 1 minute to prepare for your answer and 2 minutes to speak. All very critical that you really try practicing this and making sure that you can be effective in all the timing aspects of this test. The next problem seems fairly obvious, not reading the instructions carefully, yet it's an aspect I see many times that students make the mistake of thinking they know what's being said or what's being asked of them, and then going ahead to answer the questions, and they go off at a tangent in totally the wrong direction. So you've got to understand exactly what the instructions are and what the questions they're giving you are, so you get your answers correctly and you don't lose valuable points in your score. Okay, this is a little bit of a continuance from the last slide and something that I've already mentioned briefly. Not answering the question, not understanding the question, not reading the question properly. Make sure that the answer that you are going to give them is answering the question that they are asking you. I see many times that students go off on, as I said before, on a tangent, and they're not answering the question to hand. Important, read it twice, read it 3 times. Make sure you understand the question. Very important. Now this one is also a very important one to pay attention to and to prepare for. Your mixture of vocabulary and grammar. It's essential that you get both aspects as good as you can get it before the day of the IELTS. Many students I know practice vocabulary and they're trying to get more and more complex vocabulary. Yes, that's good and it is important, but make sure that the vocabulary you're going to use in this test is vocabulary that you fully understand and you know how to use it, you know the meanings and you know the ways you can put it into what you're trying to say. But you can't just have the vocabulary. You need to have the good grammar that can glue the whole discussion together, that can turn it into a language and make it sound logical and following in good order and tying it all together, getting your tenses right, etc. All of this is very important and takes a lot of practice. Don't ignore the grammar. Many students do, and they let themselves down. They've got some good vocabulary, but the grammar lets them down. Be aware. Practice both, get them both going together, get them going logically and making sense, and job's done. And finally, my friends, and I hope it's obvious to all of those IELTS takers out there that are preparing to take this test, it's absolutely essential that you do prepare for this test and that you practice as much as you can, because that's the only way you're going to go in there fully confident and achieve a high band score, avoiding the mistakes that we're going through and practicing more and more and more and getting it all right. Ideally, hopefully you're getting some feedback from a tutor or a friend or someone, but you have to get the practice in, and that way you will achieve exactly what you want to achieve. And as I say, avoid all these mistakes. So there you have it. The 6 mistakes easily made, and they are very, very common. So study away, get ready for your IELTS, and be sure that you've made a note of all these mistakes that I've outlined here, and you're going to avoid them at all costs when you take the IELTS test. And by the way, good luck.